Hey, I'm Carol, a transformational life coach, and I'm here to get real. I don't even know where to start. I woke up this morning and I saw that Anthony Bourdain had died and he had committed suicide. And I have to tell you, it rocked my world. I'm wearing my pajamas. This is, just me being me. I don't go into my office today. I am a foodie. So first of all, I've been following Anthony Bourdain. I've been following Eric Repair. I go to all the celebrity chefs wherever I can do those things. And I love the food world. Now, that's kind of strange because I can wear a 00. I'm smaller than I've ever been. But, oh my God, it's just it rocked my world. I was up at 5 o'clock saying, friggin' hate suicide. I hate it. I hate suicide. Okay, but why such a deep, visceral experience? And then I got to thinking, okay, so I'm authentic. Well, I hope you're experiencing me that way. I'm going to get real with you. I have come from horrific abuse, just horrific abuse. I'm not going to describe that. See my doggies there? She loves me. I come from horrific abuse, and I don't need to describe what that means, but I'm going to describe some of it. So due to my family of origin, I had no value. I didn't feel I had value. And at a very, very young age, I knew that I wanted to die. I don't know if it was 3. Certainly I remember by 5 trying to commit suicide. Okay, you don't see 5-year-olds trying to commit suicide too often. I took a chair. I had this little chair, this little brown chair, and I used to use it to stand up and brush my teeth in the sink. And I took this brown chair and I hit it against my head over and over and over until I made a big gash in my head. And if you look close enough, I think it's there somewhere. To be honest with you, I haven't looked in a long time. I have a little leftover scar. So who the hell does that? Somebody that's been raped, molested, and gone through hell. And that's the least of what I went through. I didn't want to live. So I guess Bill's going to find out about this. I have tried to commit suicide 3 times in my life. And I can't remember them all. But that is a permanent solution for a temporary problem. I'm sure you guys have all kind of heard that. In that moment, I didn't see another way out. And at one point, I took a bottle of pills. And I called people and I said, you know what? How are you doing? Called my mom. I think I called one of my sisters. And I said, have a great day. But somehow they read in my voice that, well, I guess the drugs were taking effect. And my mom figured out I was trying to kill myself. I was 22. And my boyfriend had dumped me. He had dumped me. And he was my world. He was actually really stupid and not anything to do with my life. It was just another one of those stupid decisions, but he was my world. So when I tried to kill myself, then I wanted to seek attention for it. So then I let him know. And then my sister, I remember him coming down and my sister said, leave her the hell alone or I'm going to kill you. I mean, she was threatening him because, she wanted him gone, but it really wasn't about him. It was about me and the lack of self-esteem and the desperation that I'm going to be alone. And all of those things were what was leading me there. A friend of mine from many, many years ago contacted me, and he showed up at my door and he said, we're going to go to the beach. We're going to go to the movies, because I had just gotten let out of the hospital. I convinced them that I wasn't going to kill myself. Inside of my mind, I was planning on waiting until everybody was gone and finishing the job. But nobody knew it, but this one friend kind of knew it because he had tried to do the same thing. So for 3 days, that guy did not leave me alone. And he probably saved my life. Who knows? I mean, who knows if that was just like a gesture of suicidality or it would have happened. But I did take a whole bottle of pills, so I think I meant for it to happen. But I was also tension seeking in those days, so I'm not sure. So, he stayed by my side, and at the end he said, I knew you're going to kill yourself, and I wouldn't leave your side until you didn't. I know the guy to this day. I eventually dated him. It was a disaster of biblical proportions. I dated him for like 2 months. That shouldn't happen, but that was years and years later. And my boyfriend didn't want me, and he dumped me, and that was that. He did me a favor. Thank you very much, Dana. If you can hear me, it's a long ass time ago. So, I know that Kate Spade died this week, and because I've been on my work bubble, I have kind of missed all that, and I know that affected my daughter more than me. And for me, Anthony Bourdain, 61 years old, all he had to do was, he was a real guy, right? But he was still keeping huge ass secrets in his mind. That he was profoundly empty, and only certain things can fill that emptiness. I mean, everybody has their idea of what can fill it. I don't care what it is. I think it's something spiritual, whether it's Zen or Christianity or something. Like, there's something that needs filling. So I chose bad men. I always chose bad men. One of them was the relationship that I left my last husband. I knew it from the time that I married him. Actually, I knew it before I married him. I shouldn't marry him. And then I married him. And then I kind of lived in this place of Christianity. I have to stay with him, even though it was abusive and wrong. I was not suicidal, but I did have suicidal ideations. That means I have the thought that I wish I was dead, but I want to die by virtue of somebody else doing it. Somehow I just die. So when my children were born, my 3 children, I said, guess what? I have no opportunity to commit suicide anymore, because now I'm a mom and I have a job to do, and I don't get to leave my kids, because I know what this feels like, because my first husband committed suicide and died. And I've walked through that, and it's hell. So I don't get to do that. So that was decided, and that was 23 years ago, but I had already, stopped taking chances, 10 years before that, in terms of doing any suicidal kind of gesturing. So when Carrie Fisher died and her mom died, I was pissed, because of course we deal with grief. We've got the DABDA, the denial, the anger, the depression, the bargaining, and the acceptance that we get through in the grief process. And I was stuck sad. And then eventually, when I found out Carrie Fisher was a drug addict again, that I was really mad, because she was one of my role models. So I've tried to commit suicide 3 times. I'm alive and well. Thank God I didn't die, because that would have been a permanent solution for a temporary problem, and I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing now, which for the life of me, I don't even know what I'm doing except being real. What I learned is that, like, when you've got big transitions in your life, you don't make decisions. based on transitional periods, whether it's coming off of addictions, coming off of drugs, alcohol, food, whatever. You wait that first year, because during that time when you make those decisions, they're probably going to be impulsive, and you don't know if you'd make that same decision a year later when you have a clear mind. You might, and that clear mind could be the same decision, but at least you would know you're making that decision based on clarity and not of impulsivity. So I decided to get into a relationship after I lost part of my weight because I was desperate to be loved. And he loved me. No driver's license, no job, just off of probation, homeless. Great guy for me. But I didn't know any better at that time. Well, now that's not me. You guys know, anybody who knows me knows I'm bold, knows I'm clear-minded about who I am. But I did make some of those decisions based on the wrong reasons. So Daniel died a year ago. And you guys know, to me, he was my son. He was my adoptive son. He was not my biological son. He has a mother that adopted him, but he was here all the time. And I was speaking into his life in the most strategic ways all that time, all for years and years and years, because I knew things that other people didn't know. 3 weeks later, I went to Vegas and I had a total blockage and I almost died. And at that point, I thought I could be with Daniel, because that's my paradigm. I believe I'll go to heaven and he'll be there because I believe he believes in God and whatever. And then I realized, wait a minute, I have 3 other kids, plus I have more adopted kids, plus I have people who love me. I can't do that. So I need to fight for my life. And then I went under emergency surgery and I fought for my life. And I'm really glad I did, because I wouldn't be who I am today. So dealing with suicide is like, you're going to do something external because your internal world is in flux and you feel it chaos and you want to control something, even if it is suicide. So I have seen things and heard things, and this has been a hard damn week. I have been listening to trauma stories that are really remarkable and profound. And somebody asked me, how do you hear these stories and not go crazy? There's something called secondary trauma that therapists can get. And I said, I manage it with self-care. If I need to consult, I consult. Otherwise, I kind of I'm usually fine. So the thing is, my ex-husband, I won't say the company he worked for, but he did biohazard work. And that entailed him to clean up murders and suicides. And sometimes there's fallout from that, as in somebody could show up at my office that is in that family system or neighbor or somebody that's been touched by that death, and he's just cleaned up the blood of somebody. I know that's big stuff. I know it's hard to imagine, but I would hear enough to know that suicide is real. Girls are doing it more often with guns and other ways. It's young girls. I have processed through with high schools, the San Bernardino shooting, other deaths from people that are high school students. I have a heart to work on trauma teams and a heart to show up somewhere and just let them process their feelings with me. And I, up until now, have not gotten the opportunity to do that, but it's just like hugely in my heart to do that. So I think about Eric Repair. He was there and found Anthony Bourdain. And Eric Repair has a big heart, huge French heart. So my other son, my daughter's man, is back in France. And I contacted him about 4 or 5 in the morning. And I'm like, oh my God. What I didn't understand is that he's a part of the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu world. And my daughter's boyfriend just competed in the world championships. I just know him as a foodie. Sebastian was there talking to me and being supportive. So when Daniel died, I went on medication. I needed to, because I remember looking at my daughter and telling her, I think I'm going insane. And when I said that, it was no joke. Losing what you consider a child, I've lost my mom, my dad, whatever, my husband, so many people, but losing him rocked my world to the place I didn't even know could exist. So I got a medication. I have no problem taking an SSRI. I won't mention what it is, but your doctors can help you with that. I knew my brain was out of hormonal imbalance and I needed to get help. Now I'm starting to titrate off, come off of the medication. Whether or not I come off completely, not at this point, because my psychiatrist says no. So we'll see. But coming down to the lower dose, I'm good. I cried about Anthony Bourdain, but I'm not like depressed or anything. It's just, well, okay, I'm depressed. Who am I kidding? But not like, I can't function and I can't see clients today and I can't make a difference today and all of that. But the bottom line is, I've been 5150. I tried to commit suicide 3 times. And I talk about this stuff. I talk about it because I'm okay talking about it. Apparently, some people are and some people aren't. I think there's been more transparency in this place this week. But since I'm called to be transparent, I'm going to be. And thank you, Brenda, for saying it's healing, but it's also healing for me too. Because if I take something out of my head, then it takes the power away. So when I lost weight, I had hormones that stripped my body. It went out of my fat cells and it caused depression and anger and irritability, which are all kind of the same things, because depression can show up as irritability and anger. Anger turned inward is depression. Bottom line is, if my job is to have insight, intention, and action to line up in order for me to make a difference in this world, I need to show up the same way that I show up in my world, with my kids, with my guy that I'm dating anyway, currently. So I just want to say that I want to help. My call to action is carolatkinson.com. There's a lot of us therapists that want to help. So there's a ton of resources out there. There's crisis hotlines. There's all kinds of things. Please do not live in your head without telling somebody what's in your head. Like I told my daughter, I think I'm losing my mind. Over and over, I had to say that until she got that I meant I couldn't do one more minute of whatever I was feeling. You need help. I don't care what the help is. I needed it when I was losing the weight. I needed it after losing the weight and coming to grips with the person that I had become. And I know this is going on a long time, but it's important. This is friggin' important. Don't kill yourself. Get help. It's a permanent solution for a temporary problem. Guaranteed, if you get the right help, you can shift your life to, if I can do it, you can do it, and have your magnificent life, because I did. I really have a spectacular life, and I also have depression. And as somebody said on my site yesterday, depression needs to be normalized. Well, it's true, and so does anxiety. These are things people struggle with. So I love you guys. Please do not not seek help. I've seen a therapist for 20 years. I saw many other ones. I continue to seek transformational training. I have a therapist if I need one, and I am a therapist. And they have therapists, and their therapists have therapists, and it's okay. Just tell me what's in your mind and not the mask you want me to see. I got no mask. I've taken it off. I'm stripped. So I guess I'm not going to say have a good day like I usually end this. I would like you to go inside and see if you have suicidal ideations. The thoughts don't scare me. What scares me is a plan and a means. If you have the plan and the means, call 911, get yourself to a hospital, call a friend, call a therapist, call somebody, because you have more to do in this world, just like I do. And I love you, and I want you to get the help. So I'm self-disclosing something that a few people know that need to know. And I will be open and honest with you if you need to know. If you don't, it's not a part of our relationship, then you don't need to know. It's okay. CarolAtkinson.com. I've got a whole team of people. I currently have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 employees. I think 2 or 3 coming on. They're all at different rates. We're all at different experience levels, but we can all help. We all have hearts, and that's all that really matters. And that's all I have to say. If you have any questions, let me know. You can FaceTime me or leave a comment, or you can handle it in any what way you want. I don't have to know. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.